All right, everybody, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to try to help you guys with the statement that I hear people make when they say, I've only got a small window to trade in, and we're never near a pivot during my window of opportunity. Okay, let's see what we can do about that. This is going to be a top-down pivot development and evaluation. So we're on a weekly chart. The current market just closed. We're just past 4 o'clock, and this is Monday, so this is only 1 day worth of this week's candle. But we opened at the low of last week, and in the new week we broke outside of that candle and we came back in. So obviously we had a couple pivots there. We're going to go ahead and just use the quant tool, the quadrant lines here, and it doesn't matter which direction you throw them in because we only want 0, 50, and 100. Obviously, the other ones are loaded here, but we don't need them, so I'm just going to turn them off. And right now we've got that weekly level. So now we'll go to the daily. We want to evaluate what yesterday's candle gave us. So there's our 50%. But we also want to evaluate the last big candle, and there's that one. So there's that 50%. Then we can drop down to a 4-hour or a 1-hour. But I bet you guys are already starting to figure out what I'm doing here. Well, we won't even say if, because the market is still moving. It's just closed for us retail traders. So with this situation, we look at the last bar that we had, or the bar that we're inside of, snap our level there. And we would, if it wasn't as big as it was, we would look at the last big bar, which would be here, and we would snap a level there. Now, since we're not inside that one, we would turn on the quant levels. There's 1.5 and 2.0, and we would project those higher. But as you can see, even though they lined up perfectly with a level, they're not going to be helpful because we're outside of that range anyways, so it wouldn't help. And there we go. We've got our levels now. We've got something to work with. We could drop down into the 30s, and I recommend that you do if you're going to do this top-down approach. You don't necessarily have to draw a level there. You just want to check it, right? Take a look, see if there's anything worth seeing. Who knows? If I didn't have this big candle here that I was inside of, I definitely would have gone to the 30 at that point to look and see if there was a candle nearby that I could mark out. Here's that 30, and you can see it's the same top. So if I did snap my lines there, it wouldn't help me with the top, which is what we're fighting against right now. But it would give me a 50% mark for the middle, right? And that makes sense in case we were to go down. So we'll go ahead and snap that one too. And you could do the same thing on the 15. Again, if you have not yet found a candle that would offer you any assistance, then you would just take it down to the next level. I don't need to. I think I've got enough here for what I would want. And now go to your chart that you would trade on. I like the 3,500, so this is where I would go. If you have a different number, say the 5-minute or the 2 is a real popular number, then you would go to that chart time frame. And as you can see, we've got levels to trade against at this point. And they're based on the same logic that we would always use anyways. 50%, 100%, 150, 200, and so on. They're also open, high, low, close values, right? Because if we're drawing from the highest point of the candle to the lowest point of the candle, that's our high and our low. And then the 50% mark, these are all the same things that we would normally do anyways. So we're not having to add anything to our trading system or our strategy. We're just defining structure and levels in the market to trade off of. Nice, short, simple, sweet. Hopefully this, gives you a little insight as to how to get some levels. When it comes to trading pivot points, on the other hand, it really is a more personalized approach at that point, how you trade a pivot. Whether you think we're going to break through that pivot and continue to move higher or lower, or if you think that pivot is going to be a reversal, a turning point, and that we fade back the other direction. By the way, you don't have to guess on which way you think it's going to go. You can do a top down in the entire market, kind of taking a look at what's going on in bonds, interest rates, gold, oil, commodities, tick, trend, UVol, DVol, AD. Just kind of get a feel for what's going on out there, that would give you an idea of what we might do when we get to that pivot. And if it doesn't, if you look at all those things and you still are kind of unsure about the direction, then rather than guessing, you can just let price get to that pivot and do whatever it's going to do and trade the reaction. It's much better than trying to guess or assume that we know which direction it's actually going to go. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to try to short it on the high until it's proven that the high really did hold in a resistance and price has come back in some. That way we're not trying to call tops and bottoms. I appreciate your time, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video.